What is up guys, Ron Smith. Welcome back to another video, and today we're gonna look at how to edit in Adobe Premiere Pro. Roll that intro. Alright guys, so if you guys are new to the channel and you love videos about video editing, social media, and just that sort of stuff, consider subscribing and hitting that bell button to get notified the next time I upload, because I'm here on YouTube to give back value to the community, because I have learned everything from YouTube, so I might as well just teach you guys what I learned. Let's jump into the actual video. Let's open Premiere Pro. Alright, so now that Adobe is open, we are at the new project panel. We're gonna click on new project. We're gonna name our project. I'm gonna name mine how to edit using Premiere, and I'm gonna save it at the current location where it's at. You can choose where you want to save yours. Just make sure your settings are similar to mine and press OK. Alright, so now that it's open, it should look similar to this. These four panels, we're gonna cover all of them right now. I'm just gonna resize this one real quick, and I'm gonna close the library panel because I won't be using that, or the media browser panel. I just want my project panel. You'll see right here, import media to start. Double click on that and import the media where your media is. Mine is under a specific folder, so I'm gonna grab my folder and my files inside my folder. Just gonna select all of them. It's my music track and all the files from my recent fishing trip. I'm just gonna create a cinematic sequence. If you guys like fishing videos, go check out the first link in my description. It'll take you to my fishing channel. I love making fishing videos. Alright, so our files are busy importing right now. You want to give that a moment to finish up. Alright, so now that our media is imported, it should look similar to this. You can change the view to a list view or whatever. I like to keep it at the icon view, just so I can see the thumbnail of the video. Next up, we are gonna click the first video which we want to import. Let's start with this one. Double click the file and it'll pop up in the source tab. Now this tab is your basic preview of a single clip, and you can choose what part of the clip you want to import to your timeline, which we will be editing at. So let's say I want the video to end about there. I can set the out point, and let's say I want the video to start here, for example. I can set the in point, and then if you only want the audio, you can drag in the audio only. If you want the video only, you can drag the video only, and if you want both, you can drag in the picture. For the sake of the tutorial, I'm just going to drag in the picture, so I'm going to drag in the audio and the video. There we go, it is imported right now. As you can see, there is our video at the top track and our audio at the bottom track. This is our timeline. The timeline is where all the editing happens, so we want to make sure we can see everything. So now we can resize the project panel to look a bit smaller, so we have more space on our timeline. So just drag that and drag the timeline a little bit larger. If you want to see more about what is going on in the video track, you can make the video track thicker to even start seeing a picture if you want. I don't like it that big, I like it about there, and my audio track about there. But for the sake of the video, I don't want to use the audio track, so I want to delete it. But you will notice if I click on the audio track right now and I press delete, it'll delete the whole clip, the video and the audio, and I don't want that. So press Ctrl Z, and if you're on Mac, Command Z if I'm right. And I just want to delete the audio, so I'm going to right click and click unlink. This will unlink the video from the audio. So then you can click on the audio track and hit the delete button to get rid of that. You'll also notice that there is a new window that popped up, the program window, and this window basically displays the stuff that is in your timeline. So if we press play over here, it will display our timeline video clips. Next up, I want to drag in my audio clip, so I'm just going to scrub through that and drag my audio clip in. Boom. And if I play it right now, it should have my audio track. If you want to have a smoother playback, I would suggest putting the resolution not on full but on quarter, and half if you have a really strong PC, but my PC is not the best, so I'll put mine on quarter. It just makes the processing time for your PC a lot less, and you will see this yellow line. This indicates how well the clip is being able to be played back. Yellow means it's alright, but green always is the best. It means it'll play back really smooth, and if it's red, is going to be really laggy. Alright, so now that we've covered the basics of the 4 panels, we want to be covering the tools. You will see on this little panel right here is the tools panel, and the ones we'll be using the most is the selection tool. The shortcut for that is V, and it's just basically to select the different clips. So I like just using the shortcut V. I don't actually ever use this little panel, but if you want to, you can. So the next most important thing is the razor tool, and the shortcut for that is C. So it's just to cut clips. So let's say I want to cut that part of the clip. I can press C to cut it, and I can press C there, and I can, for example, delete that piece then. But I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to press Ctrl Z and undo that. So the two most important ones, the selection and the razor tool. The other most important one is the type tool. I don't use this type tool too often. I use the legacy title tool, but I'll show you that later in the video. A few other things regarding the timeline tools is the hide button, just to toggle to play it or not. So let's say you had another video up top. Let's put that on top. Just want to remove that audio track as well. So unlink again, delete that audio track. Let's say I wanted to see what is going on below this clip. I would just hit that I, and it would basically hide that track. Alright, so for now I'm just going to move that clip over. Oops. Alright, next up, let's talk about speed. So for example, if I wanted this clip to be slower, I would right click, go speed and duration, and I can put on some slow motion over here. So the speed currently is 100%. So if I want it to be half the speed, I could put 50%, and you can even hit the reverse speed to reverse the clip. For now, let's reverse the clip and put it at 50% and click OK. You will see the line there just turned red. That means our PC is going to struggle playing it back smooth. If you want to watch it smooth, hit the enter button, or you can go and put your marker on the start of the red. Press I on your keyboard, scroll to the end of the red, press O, that'll set the in and out point. Then you can go over to sequence, render into out. Hit that and it's going to render the red piece. This may take a while because it's actually processing that whole piece to be able to play it back smoothly. Alright, so now that the rendering is done, you'll see the green bar. That means it's ready for smooth playback. You can even put it at full right now and you will still have no problem playing it back. So let's watch it.
I don't wanna miss a thing. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, or hang out and hope.
Alright, so you guys see the track's working. It's not laggy, nothing like that. So that's just a little tip for you guys right there. If you guys are having problems with laggy previews, hit the enter button or press the in and out button and go to sequence and render into out to make that bar go green and get a smooth playback. Alright, so I don't really want this clip at 50% or in reverse. So I'm just going to hit Ctrl Z again 2 times to undo that. And I'm just going to quickly preview the whole thing so I know what I want. Right there, you guys saw that little shake right there. I don't want that, so I'm going to hit the C button to cut that piece out. And I'm going to press the V button to get my selection tool to select the piece that I want to delete. Hit delete, and then press on this blank space to select that, and hit the delete button again to delete that blank space and move the clips up. So let's watch it again.
I'm running out of time, every day goes.
You guys see what I mean about the laggy footage? We don't really want that right now, but we're just going to push through.
It goes by so fast. And every
Alright, so the footage looks good, but it has a little bit of lag, so the preview is not perfect. But there's a little bit of shake in the footage, which I don't like. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to effects at the top, hit that button. This will open up the effects tab. I want to put in the warp stabilizer, so go there and type in warp. What this effect does, it basically stabilizes your footage a lot. So just drag it onto your clip, and you will then see that it is busy analyzing in the background. Now this takes a while, and it makes your video pretty laggy when you preview it. So after you've done the warp stabilizer, you want to again render that piece of the sequence. Alright, so while this is busy, I'm gonna just drag in the rest of my clips. So I already have that one in, and I think I have that one in. Yeah, so I want to put that one in, and I want to put Control. I'm just going to press Control and select that one, that one, that one, and that one, and that one. And then I just want to drag my clips in there. Just make sure, if you drag it on top, you'll see the audio and the video track moves the track up. I don't want it to be over my music track because then it's actually going to delete my track. So I'm just going to put it right there for now. And then I'm going to select those tracks again by holding in and just dragging across them and right clicking and pressing unlink because I want to remove those audio tracks. So I'm going to select the audio tracks and hit the delete button. So those audio tracks are deleted. So now I can move these clips down. I want to delete that space. So select the space and hit the delete button. I'm going to use this to zoom in on my timeline so I can see what's going on. Alright, so my first clip is still analyzing. That usually takes a while, so don't worry about it. I'm just going to go to my second clip and start playing it so I can see what's going on, what I want to remove and what I want to keep.
And every moment counts, baby, I don't want to miss it.
As you guys can see again, there was a lot of shake, so I'll probably end up throwing the warp stabilizer on this clip as well, but just keep watching. Now, I don't want this clip to be so long, so I'm going to move it on a little bit further. I'm just going to hit C to cut this clip in half. Press the V button to select that last part and delete. So I want to get rid of that. Delete the empty space again. I'm just going to keep watching again.
We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars.
A lot of shake again, which I don't want, so I'll probably end up deleting that. Just keep watching.
Hang out in hotel bars, driving somewhere in your car. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the...
Alright, so that first part was also very shaky and I don't want that, so I'm gonna go there, hit the C button and delete that first part. Delete the empty space again. Let's keep watching.
Hang out in hotel bars, driving somewhere in your car. We can...
That last part was also very bad, so let's find that piece again.
Hang out in hotel bars, driving...
It's about there, just before that bad last part also shakes a bit, so I'm gonna delete that as well. Just gonna zoom in a bit and move that clip up. Play.
Somewhere in your car. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep...
If it starts lagging like mine just did, I just pause mine and I wait a second so it catches up. You can also put that on quarter and then play it again.
Under the stars, under the stars.
Alright, so I want it to end just before this motor gets in the frame. So I'm gonna go back a little bit. There we go. Hit the C button and delete that part. And then move that clip up as well. And I don't think we needed to go through the rest of the clips. I think let's just work with the first 4 clips. So I'm gonna just select those ones and just delete those ones as well, because I don't think we need to make this tutorial too long. So let's keep it there. Just gonna watch this last piece. Right, so I don't want that first piece of the rods coming in, but I want this last piece, so I want to get it from about there. I'm going to hit the C button, play it again. And I wanted to stop about halfway through the clip and delete the last part and the first part. But this piece, I don't want to play it at normal speed. I want it in slow motion, so I'm going to click on it and right click, and I'm going to go to speed and duration. And I'm going to make this about, well, let's go to 50% and hit OK. And this is going to give it a nice smooth slow motion, but you'll see again it's red, so let's just watch it and see what happens. Okay, so we can see that the slow motion is gonna work, so it's gonna delete that empty space again. Alright, the next thing I want to talk about is audio and video transitions. So what I mean by this is the transition between one clip into another. So you'll see this is one clip and then this is another. That piece in the middle is a transition between the 2 clips. So as you guys can see, this is really kind of distracting to go from there till there, and you want to make your transitions as seamless as possible. It just gives a nice flow to your video. So what I'm gonna do on this piece right here is just add a default transition. So you can go into the middle, right click and apply default transition. Now this will apply a cross dissolve to your 2 clips, so you'll immediately see that both the clips are showing and they're about half transparent. So you'll see if I go here and I scroll through it that the transition is much more smooth and seamless. If you want to add different transitions, that's up to you. In this video I'm not going to go too much in depth about that, but if you guys want to know more, go to the effects tab and go to video transitions. Alright, so that's it for video transitions. Audio transitions is very similar, except for this video we're not gonna do a transition between two different audio clips. We're just gonna do like a fade in transition. So this track starts really loud and I want it to like fade in. So I'm gonna go to the start as well and just right click and apply default transitions, and you'll see that the transition applied. I want to make this a little bit longer, so you can click on it. You'll see this little thingy pop up. Just drag it out as long as you want. I want mine to happen quite slowly, so I'm going to drag it out quite a bit, and let's hear it now. So you can hear that the volume increases gradually. So that is another default transition which I use quite often. Alright, you'll also see that the warp stabilizer is done stabilizing, and then if I would have rendered this out, it would have been really smooth, but just watch it anyway. As you guys could see in that first part, it was already really smooth, and then it started getting lag because of the preview. It's red right here. But anyway, let's go to our next step, and that is adding some text. I like to add text, the legacy text. I'll go to File, New, and then go to Legacy Title. But you can also use this tool right here, the type tool. I don't really use this one, but I don't know why. But I'm just used to using the legacy title. So go add a legacy title. You can name it whatever you want. I'm just going to leave mine to the default name, and then you will have this screen pop up, and then this is where you can type. So select the type tool, and you can type whatever you want. Let's say I want to type a fishing cinematic sequence. Hope I spelled that right. Anyway, I just want to put that A in a capital letter as well. I'm going to select everything, and I want to change the font. So you'll see on the right hand side there is a font family. You can change that to whatever you want. I like to put mine on Dubai, and you can change the font style as well to light, bold, whatever. So hit on your text, Control A to select everything, and go center it right there and center it right there. That'll put your text nicely in the middle. And right now I want to make some of my text bold just to give it a nice touch. So I want to make fishing bold, and I want to make my sequence bold. So I want to change the size, so I can change the font size by going to the font size ray, and you'll see this little arrows, and you can just drag it to the left to make it smaller and drag it to the right to make it bigger. I want to just type mine in at 120 to give it a nice big font. You'll see it's out of the middle now, so I want to select my text again and center it once again. So now it's in the middle, and you can change the color over here. You can add some shadows if you want. I'm not going to be adding any of that right now, but that's it for text. You can also add some shapes here and draw some shapes if you want, but I'm just going to Control Z because I don't want that right now. So I'm just going to press exit, and then you will see in your project bin your title will appear at the bottom. I don't know what that just was, but anyway. So there your title is. You can drag it onto your timeline right now. There we go. I want my title to happen actually before all my clips start showing, so I'm gonna select my clips and just move them up a pinch, and I want my text to show right there. I want my text to be just a little bit shorter. You can use this tool to just drag it a little bit shorter if you want to happen right there. And yeah, then we just add text, guys. Alright, so this text just is pretty boring because it's quite still, and then the video just starts. So there's not much happening, and it's not really cinematic, so we want to add some movement. So you will see if you click on the clip and you go over to the editing tab here up top, editing, that the editing tab will appear on your right hand side. Don't stress out because your tabs has changed. Don't worry. So I'm just gonna resize this a little bit so I can work easier. I'm gonna make this a little bit longer. There we go. And I want to add some movement to my text. I want my text to start small and get bigger as the time plays. So we can actually animate using keyframes. Now keyframes is a big essential of editing, and you're going to be using it quite a lot. So I want to spend some time on this. So to make text small, going from small to big, we're going to be using scale, but Over here in the editing in the effect controls panel, we can actually change the position of the text, vertical and horizontal. I'm just going to press the reset button over here just to reset everything, and you can change the scale to make it bigger and smaller. And I'll be showing you guys some animation right now, but just going through the basics. And you guys can see the opacity as well. You can change how bright, well, how transparent it is. I'm just going to reset that. There we go. So like I said, we want to make the text start from small and go to big. So we're going to actually hit the toggle animation button right there next to the scale. You'll see that there's been a keyframe created right there. And then we're just going to change the scale to about, let's say 89%. You can choose whatever you want, but that's just for me right now. And then you want to move up and just a little bit, and you want to put the scale up back to 100%, and that will create a cinematic. You'll see if you scroll through it, there's a little bit of a cinematic sequence going on there, but you'll see that it stops right there. But you wanted to carry on through to the end of the clip, so just click on the keyframe and put it right at the end. Now if we play it back, it's going to be really cinematic.
I'm running out of time, every day goes by.
Alright, so you see that was much better than just the still text. But we still have one problem. You'll see that this scene is really dark, and going from this to this is quite distracting. So I have an idea. We can actually add a default transition to make this fade from light, from dark to light. So go to the start of the clip, right click and apply default transition, and you'll see that just added the fade in transition. If we play that back now, it's going to be even better.
It goes by so fast.
A lot better, isn't it? Alright, so like I said, using keyframes and animation is going to be huge in your game of editing, so you want to make sure you nail that. So let's just do another exercise. So make sure your clip is selected, go into editing and opacity. We want to make this clip go from 100% opacity to 0, and so black in the middle, and then the second clip to start at a 0 opacity, which is black, and then go to about 100%, which is the color that it is right now. So let's just go to the first clip again. Select the first clip and make sure you are in the editing and effects control tab. Scroll a little bit down until you find opacity and make sure that the toggle animation is a blue. And then we want to make a 0% keyframe, which is going to make it really dark. And we want to move that keyframe to the end of the clip. There we go. And then we want to go a few frames before the end of the clip, and we want to make the opacity back to 100. So when we play the clip now, it's going to be normal,
Baby, I don't wanna miss a thing.
normal to dark. As you guys saw, it happened really quickly, so we want to make this transition happen a little bit longer. So let's watch it now.
Baby, I don't wanna miss a thing.
That's better. And then the second clip is starting at 100%, but we don't want that. So select the second clip, and then we want it to start at 0%. So make sure you're once again in your editing and effects control, and make sure it's toggled animated, and then put the keyframe on 0%. Move a few frames further down and make another keyframe with 100%. When we watch it now, it's going to be really smooth and going from bright to dark to bright. Let's watch it.
Baby, I don't wanna miss a thing.
As you guys saw, that was really cool, and that's just another way of using keyframes and animations in your video. Just a quick tip, you can also change the opacity by using this little bar right here, and you can put it to 100 or you can make it less or whatever. I keep mine at 100 usually. I don't play around with the opacity too much, but when you're using things like overlapping, it becomes really useful. And then another thing, you will see this line in the middle of our audio. Like I said earlier, you can change the size of your audio bar by just dragging it. I want to put the volume a little bit softer because it's quite loud when I play it back, so lowering this will change the audio levels. So if I put it at the bottom, it's going to be muted, as you guys can hear. If I put it at the top, it's going to be really loud. And if I put it like in the middle, it's going to be normal, but I want to have it just below normal, just a little bit softer. So if you play it back, it's going to be a little bit softer now.
We can sleep under the stars.
Perfect. Alright, so video is starting to come together. I want to talk about a few other important things about video editing. One of the most important things we use is an adjustment layer. So an adjustment layer is just basically a layer on top of everything, which we can throw effects onto that layer, which will affect everything that is below that layer. So let's go onto our click there, go to our project bin, and then we want to go to the bottom where it says new item, click there and say adjustment layer. Click OK. You can also add an adjustment layer by going to file, new adjustment layer, but we also already have one. So our adjustment layer is there right now. We can just drag it onto our timeline, and we can drag it over all our clips by just using the lengthening tool, if I can name it that. So you might be thinking, what is the adjustment layer for exactly? So like I said, you throw effects onto this layer, it will affect everything below. So for example, if we go to our effects tab, and if we would have been throwing a preset like a glitch preset onto the adjustment layer, it would make all our footage glitch, as you guys can see. So we didn't throw that effect onto that specific clip, but we threw it onto the adjustment layer, so it affected everything. If I mute this track right here, we can watch that it affected the rest of the clips as well. See? So I'm just going to press Ctrl Z to get rid of that glitch effect. So I use the adjustment layer mostly for color grading, which is going to be our next topic. So to start color grading, you want to make sure you're in the color tab right here. And this will bring up your Lumetri color tab with your basic correction, your creative correction, and curves, and etc, etc, etc. I'm not going to go too deep into color grading right now, because that's a video for another time. If you want to watch it, make sure you hit the subscribe button. But like I said, we are working with the adjustment layer, so if I were to drag the exposure up, it's going to make all the clips below super bright, because I made the exposure really bright. So if I made it really low, it will affect that clip as well and make it really low. I'm just going to reset it by double clicking in the middle. You can also add things like LUTs right here, like any style of LUT, to get a certain feel for your video. So I'm going to put that back to none. Alright, so that is how an adjustment layer works. I don't need to go into too much depth. That's just the basics. You can also add effects, like I said earlier. You can add color, basically anything that you want to affect over certain clips. So that's really useful. Alright, so that is it for the most part of today's video. We went over most of the basics. I'll be showing you the exporting of the video in a second. But just want to say that don't worry about editing too much, like the things that's going on right here. You'll figure it out as you're going on. This video is just a basic overview of how the program works and how you can use it to do a basic video, you know, because you use text, you can use a little bit of animation and some soundtrack to make a nice little video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna go and show you guys how to export the video, and then it'll be done. So we want to go to the end of our video where we want it to stop. I don't want this soundtrack to keep on going, so I'm going to cut it just after my video and select that last part and delete it. And I want the soundtrack to sort of fade out, so I'm going to right click and apply default transition. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit to lengthen that transition duration to make it fade out properly. Just listen to that. As you guys can hear, it went softer and softer. But anyway, so that is our basic video for today. So we want to export this video. So go to the end of the video and press O to set an out point, and then go to the start of the video and just press in. So this will basically show Adobe that this is the piece which you want to render. So go to File, Export, Media, and then you want to go to output name, and you can change the name to anything you want. So I'm just going to name this test because I want to. You can save it, you can name it whatever you want, and make sure you have export video and audio selected to make sure that you export the audio and the video. And then just leave the export settings as the default. They're actually really accurate and pretty good. Just make sure your format is an H.264, your codec. And then preset source, high bitrate is always the best. And obviously you want to render in at least 1080p, so you can change that here by just clicking that and changing it. I'm going to leave mine at the default. And then that is actually it. Then you just press export, and it'll export your video to that location which you set right here. And that is it, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe. And like I said, this is just a basic overview of the program. This is not fancy editing. If you guys want to know more, leave it in the comment section. I will definitely make some more editing videos. So if you have a specific request which you want me to cover, leave it in the comments and I will get to it. Anyway, have a good day, and I really hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the like button. Enjoy.